Today's episode of the Lifekraft Podcast is with a vibrant Bold Mama Elle. She is a visionary and a spiritual teacher from the United States who has inspired thousands through her work on stages, TV, and print media. From her darkest days as a homeless addict to becoming a world traveler who helps people transform their lives through her workshops, retreats, and art, she shows us that it's entirely possible to connect to your true self. From manifestation to boldness, creating a new narrative around racism, overcoming alcoholism, and letting go of your limitations, in this episode we discuss it all. I would love for you to touch on your days when you were homeless and an addict and struggling with alcoholism, because I know that there are lots of people who are struggling with it, who used to make the excuses that I've heard you made that time. And I would love for you to just share that with us so that if there's someone going through that at the moment, they know that there's a way out.
Yeah. So I started out with champagne in New York, and I ended up on park benches in California. Like, I migrated all the way across. Most people don't get to the park benches. Very few people get to the park benches, and most of the people that get to the park benches don't make it off the bench. So it's an exceptional journey, horrific to have had experience. But if you tell yourself, and I like to say this for a lot of people, even people who don't have a problem, we don't need mind-altering substances. Like, just even in the casual way, you're going to be a better person, period, without it. You're going to be a divine being, your own divinity. To the extent to which you put poison in your body will limit your own ability to experience your divinity. Now, you say you want an easier life. Well, the pathway to an easier, more magical life is to be moving through life from a space of divinity. So as soon as you have alcohol, you are separate from your own divinity. Period, which is why it's called spirits in most cultures. Okay. Now, if you're already in the process of medicating your feelings, your stress, whatever it is, you do it every night, you do it on the weekends, you do it whatever, it isn't working. It's not working. It's not a solution. And that piece is so important, which is why it took 5 years for me to stop. Basically, got really five really hard, horrible years, and it got progressively worse. And I thought it was because I didn't have the right combination. I thought that it was because my father died, a horrific death. No one was there for him, and there was all these reasons why. And finally, I had to get to the point where I realized that it wasn't working. It's not a solution. It's an excuse. It's not a solution. It's an excuse. Now, if you're active and you just make that one switch, if you just say, you know what? Okay, fine. Fuck it, Bold Mama Elle. It's an excuse. I'm going to try it out. It's an excuse. It's not a solution. It's an excuse. If you make that one switch, it will be less interesting, or it will be less easy for you to experience the same amount of pleasure, because you have included awareness. You've included a slither of awareness. So when I work with people, that I don't really work with active alcoholics, but I work with people who have habits that are similar. And I say, okay, go ahead and smoke your cigarette. But before you do, just say, this is an excuse, and I'm going to enjoy it.
I love that.
I'm making this excuse and I'm going to enjoy this excuse. And what that does is it activates the knowing part of you, the part that I talked about earlier. And so now you have a witness in the experience that normally you would be doing on autopilot. Now, that's like a really, short answer for people that are actively involved. There's two things. One, if you're a person who only does it on the weekend, whatever it is, okay, great. So what you want to do is you want to become aware at this slither of awareness that doing so separates you from your divinity. And anytime you're outside of your divinity, you block the conveyor belt of blessings that have your name on it. So that's fine. You want to be kind of just chilling and, kind of comatose or out of it, escaping for the weekend. That's great, darling. Okay, great. So for that time period, you have stopped the conveyor belt of blessings that have your name on it because you're separate from your own divinity. It's anti-divine to be high, darling.
That is a quote.